So, Dan, we got a chance to hear from G-Man on the personnel, the people issue. Let's hear from Gary and kind of pick his brain about the process to get where you want to be.
This would be Drew.
Did I say Drew?
No, you said Gary. Let's talk to Gary. Let's talk to Gary.
Okay, we talked to Gary. Now we're going to talk to Drew. This is why it's called Unfiltered.
Keep going. Just roll.
So, Drew, talk to us about process so he can be where he wants to be, which is basically showing up and fixing problems. And, you know, he loves to work, right? You want to be on a sailboat. He wants to work, to each his own. But you don't want to be responsible for every element of the business. You want it to do its thing and fix your problems. That requires people, as Drew talked about. I know you're Gary. And it requires process, which Drew's going to talk about.
Well, you know, being that I'm Gary, I understand basking in the glow of legendary.
Can I have your hair?
You know, as opposed to the iconicness of Drew. What was your question?
Process.
Yeah, he had a question about process? No, he had a question about, no, seriously. I mean, what I took away from your question really was the fact that you said you didn't have really a specific dream. Your dream really was to work and to continue to work and get to a point to where you wanted to be able to go in every day and, you know, have the business somewhat run without you, right?
Correct.
And where you are now, you feel like you've gotten to a place where you can kind of almost helicopter in, right? 30,000 foot view. You said, I think, either in a sidebar conversation or somewhere along the way this week, that you're not sure what you should be doing and where you are and what role that you do play. So I guess I'll play the Senator Alex from the great state of Tennessee, and not answer your question by asking you a question and say, what is it that you think your goal is? And what is it that you think your dream is?
So, in reality, in a perfect world, this company would continue to go on by itself and pay dividends to my children, my grandchildren, you know, and so on, and really build a legacy. Yeah. I guess that's really the dream.
And so it's really cool. I mean, I'm glad you said that because this played right into my hand.
That's why you're looking.
How did it play in your hands, Drew?
Because no, seriously, I sat in the boot camp this week, and for our viewers, to just set the frame, you know, Gary taught the 3-day boot camp. I was back color commentary and support and whatnot. And, you know, we talk about legacy. I hear legacy all the time. And given my situation, you know, you guys know my legacy, you know, the viewers know about the legacy that I talk about. I talk about not leaving a legacy, but living a legacy. And what I came to this week was really, well, legacy is kind of the thing that we talk about, and you talked about it this week, about leaving it behind, right? But if we're living it and it's in a business, it's culture. But if it's us, it's a lifestyle, right? And so what I would submit to you, having just met you this week, talked with you on the phone previously, heard obviously a little bit about your company and your brand, and talked with Gary a little bit about you, and got to meet your team, you know, a couple guys from your team this week. And what I get based on that limited interaction, and to backfill the question, which is, what is your role? What is your goal? What is your dream? The thing that you say you want to do? It is to build your people, right? Yeah, I mean, that's really what you want to do. You want to be the guy who goes in every day, and you are almost like, you know, the mayor, right? You're going in and shaking hands and, you know, kissing babies. And how are you doing? How's your life? How's your world? What's going on with you? And you are just growing your people, because what you want to do to grow this legacy is you're going to have to grow your people. Right. And how are you going to grow your people? So like any legend would do, I'll bring this full circle and say, how do you grow your people? Through process, right? Mm-hmm. Leadership is what we do. People don't want to be managed, right? You coach people and you lead people.
Right.
Systems are what manage the people. Processes are what manage the people. And what you can do in your role is to go in and say, hey, where are we missing? You know, where are we not achieving the level of excellence? You know, Gary said this week, talking about, you know, the brand experience, it's about delivering and pricing yourself. He said that today, to where you can deliver that exceptional experience. And I think in companies, they try and do that at a macro level, right? And I think you've probably achieved that to some extent because you have a level of success. Okay, so I'm going to challenge you and say you want to go to the level of greatness. Okay, if you want to be like Drew Cameron over here, right, then you can be iconic, or you can go to the next level and be legendary like Gary Ellis, right, and then have no hair, and that's cool too, right, because that has its perks as well, right? But greatness has multiple levels. Success is a destination. I want to be successful. Boom, I hit a number. Okay, you're successful. You achieved the goal. You won the gold medal, right? To Gary's point a little bit earlier.
Right.
But greatness just keeps going, right? So that's where like a guy like Carl Lewis, who was iconic as a sprinter and a long jumper and a relay racer for like well over a decade, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just won multiple gold medals and kept lowering his distance and lowering his times and kept raising his distance in the long jump, right? To a guy like Usain Bolt who blew away the world and then disappeared.
Yeah.
Was gone, right? Because one guy sought success, the other guy sought greatness, right? And I think
that's good.
Yeah. And so I think for you, what you can do is, and what I get from you this week, and a few opportunities we've had to connect and whatnot over a few adult beverages and some really meaningful conversations with you and your team, and that's what I also got from your team is that's what you do bring is, and he mentioned something a little bit earlier. Your team wants to go, they want to come into work and they want to go to battle with you, not for you, with you.
Right.
They will fight for you, right? But that's what I also, knowing, Ben here as well, that's what his team wants to do. And knowing Weldon, that's what his team wants to do. And knowing Gary, that's what his team wants to do. And that's who you need to is be that person for yourself first, right? That where you're going in and you're just checking in with each person every day and you're helping them become 1% better, 1% better, 1% better. But the only way you're going to be able to do that is to kind of come back inward and say, okay, who do I need to be? Okay. And then what do I need to do with the process is to grow the people. And I think if you do that, I mean, you'll have a boat, you'll have your jet, you'll have whatever it is that you want, but I think you'll have the peace of mind that you want, that you seek, because you have somewhat of a nebulous goal right now, whereas his is tangible and it's a material possession, but I think what we all came to the conclusion of, it's not the fact that he gets that, it's who does he become in the process, right? You're at a different point, right? We're all on the same journey. We're down the road a little bit further. You're down the road a little bit further than Ben is, right? And you've seen things that he has yet to encounter. And so what I would say to you is, what is it that you want as a result of that? Because to me, what I get from you is that there's something that you want to do with the business, with the people, beyond yourself, beyond the people, beyond the business. Is that an impact in the community?
Right. Yeah.
So what would that be?
Well, I mean, right now we're just all the time, constantly being a force in the community. Right now, we donated $20,000 last month to the fire victims and that sort of thing. And I love that.
So what would be if there was one cause in your mind? It doesn't have to be just one, but if there was one primary one in your organization that would inspire you and maybe inspire your team, where you could all get behind it and say, this is what we want to do. This is the impact that we want to make, right? It can't be, hemp, marijuana, or CBD related in Oregon, okay?
Or mushrooms.
Or mushrooms.
So when I go out to eat, I like to try everything. So to me, being able to give to this organization and give to this one and give to this one and oh wow, there's a real need over here. And what's fun is when the whole team comes together and they say, wow, we can get behind that because that's really cool. That's excitement to me.
So what if maybe once a month, once a quarter, whatever works for you and your team. I'm not sure, obviously all the irons you all have in the fire. But what if once a month, once a quarter, you picked an endeavor from somebody on your staff that motivated them, that the whole team wanted to get behind, right? And you did something for that, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. And what's really cool is a lot of times the idea comes from someone else, and I get to be the champion that says, hey, yeah, let's get behind that. I can get behind that. But no, I love that because I love the culture, and I try to build the culture where everyone has they all have a say, and they all know we have an open door. They can come in at any time. They can talk to me and say, hey, we've got this idea. And they all know that, you know, a lot of times they'll come in, wow, that's a great idea. I haven't thought of that. And then there's times, yeah, we're going to do that, but it's going to be a little while. But I love the idea of floating that out there to the Advantage Heating family.
Yeah. And what do you think the impact would be to that crucial cause, right? If you all came together as an organization, how many people are on your team?
We have 43.
43, right? Plus the families, right? So you actually employ 43 families, right? And if you even involved your customers in that, let's say that community effort, what impact could you guys make in that crucial cause at that moment, right?
Right.
And then if you did that in that one little thing, let's call it something with cancer, right? Knowing something that's personal to him, right? If we got behind that, what would that mean? Not only to that, endeavor, achieving and making an impact in that situation, right? But what would that mean to the camaraderie of the team?
Oh, that'd be huge.
And how do you think the individual who basically came to you and said, Dan, cats are meaningful to me. I'm not sure why they would be, but cats are meaningful to me, right? Nothing wrong with cats. But they wanted to get behind something with, pets or some disease or something like that, right?
Right. And the just the fact that, hey, we took their idea and we ran with it that would be awesome, because then more people would come in and say, hey, I've got this idea. What do you think about that? No, I love it. I think that's great.
Yeah. So what I got from your original question is, you want to be the leader that inspires your people to aspire, to desire to go higher, right? And catch fire. And I think if you now set that as your goal and your endeavor, I think now you've got something that you can you can bite into and you can work on.
I love it. That's awesome.
So Dan, I'm going to call bull. So you originally said your goal is a sailboat. Yeah. Yours was to work. It's not. It's to contribute.
No, you're right.
It's to contribute.
You're right.
Everything you guys just talked about was contribution.
You're right.
This organization, that's what you want to do. It's not about the work. The work is the means. The work gives you the ability, the income, the profitability.
Right.
Gives you the ability to fulfill your mission, the big dream, which is to contribute to that cause, this cause, etc.
Impact.
And that's a beautiful thing.
I agree.
Yeah. So quit bull.
Okay, no more.
So what do you want to do? What's your dream?
My dream is to help impact the community, impact the lives, and I love it when someone comes in and they tell me, you changed my life. This company's changed my life.
That's the clarity that will get you there.
Yeah.
Knowing specifically. It was the first point we made a couple episodes ago about Gary's training, like, what is your why? What are you doing? Right? Definite purpose. Now you've got clarity. Yeah. It's about making that contribution, having the financial freedom, the time freedom to do that.
Exactly. You're right. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm here all week.
I just needed a few minutes.
Sure. Cheers, guys.
And scotch. Cheers.
Cheers.
That's a wrap.